So I suffered from depression. I had depressions from the age of about 13 or 14. I now understand why, but at the time I didn't. And eventually it took me into analysis with somebody called Alan McGlashan, and I stayed with him for 11 years. And then I applied to be an analyst with Gerhard Adler, and he recommended that I should work with his wife, Hella Adler, before I could be accepted to train as a Jungian analyst. So I did 7 years of training, Jungian analyst training, plus 2 years with her. So altogether, I've had 22 years of Jungian analysis with 2 different people. But she taught me about the feminine, and really she took me into the unconscious. She took me really deep into the causal loss of the feminine. And I owe a great deal to her, which I like to acknowledge. It was with her that I had my 3 really big dreams, and which pointed me in the direction that I should go, which was in recovering the feminine. One was a journey to the moon, and that when I got to the moon, there was an enormous thing like the Eiffel Tower on top of it, a great iron structure. And the moon itself was completely dead, no life, no animals, no people, no nothing. And I found myself in some sort of vehicle, and then I was dumped in a pool of water at the end, which of course, as a Jungian, I would know, which was the entry into the unconscious. That was the first opening dream when I moved from my first analyst to Hella Adler. And then the big dream was of when I was about 45, I suppose. It was that I was in a great field of corn, coming round the edge of a huge dolmen, and entering into another dimension. And the corn was green, like it is in early spring or sort of in May. And I came to a valley between 2 sort of hills, and on each hill there was a man standing, an archetypal man standing with a huge net stretching right across the valley. And I was caught in the net, and I had to lie on my back looking up at the cosmos, which was dark and night. And I saw this figure of an archetypal woman manifesting to me with a great wheel in her abdomen. And she told me to look down at my abdomen, and I had the same small wheel, but it was too far to the left. And she indicated I was to move it to the center, and that was to be my work. But those were the 2 major dreams I had, which brought me in touch with the feminine. Jung's Modern Man in Search of a Soul, which I was ill in hospital for a few weeks, and my husband, Robin, read it to me while I was there. And we shared that interest in Jung and that discovery of Jung. And we were actually planning to go and visit him in Zurich in a very inflated sort of way when he died. So that was the end of that. But he was a huge influence from that time on. And this was not long into our marriage, maybe 1962 or something like that. We married in 1960. And the other one was Joseph Campbell, The Masks of God, which was a huge influence on my historical exploration of ancient civilizations. And it was extraordinary work, that was. And I'm so grateful to his existence that he opened so much. And he also, in his books that Jules and I followed in writing about the Paleolithic, they were the major influence on us in the myth of the goddess. Well, when I was in India, I visited the ashram of the great sage Sri Ramana Maharshi. He'd just died a year before, but I stayed with a woman there. My mother was with me on that trip, and we both stayed there for a week or 2. And we were given his little booklet, a little yellow booklet like that, which said, "Who am I? Ask yourself that question. Who am I? And never give up until you find the answer." I now know the answer at this great age, but I didn't know it until very recently.